In part one of Understanding and Changing Behavior, we work through the 2 steps that can lead you to an hypothesis of the function of a well-defined problem behavior. Answering "why does he do that" prepares you and the child's entire support team to take the active measures that solve the problem. In this workshop, we'll explore step 3, planning for change. Once you've tested your hypothesis, and you're confident about the underlying function of a problem behavior, you'll implement change strategies based upon what we call the 3 I's. You'll implement change by making the problem behavior irrelevant or inefficient, and finally, ineffective. Let's rejoin Stacy Baskind at Surrey Place for Planning for Change, Part 2.
Making a problem behavior irrelevant means making the behavior essentially unnecessary. You can often make a problem behavior irrelevant by using strategies that address issues identified in the antecedent part of your ABC information gathering. These strategies can include environmental modifications like providing a quiet seating area and making simple changes to routines, tasks, personnel, teaching methods, grouping, and the timing of events. Be creative. You can remove, add, or alter teaching and play materials. You can change teacher expectations. It's often particularly helpful to use visual helpers, gestures, and physical cues, especially when problem behavior is linked to transitions. You'll also find it may be helpful to reduce transitions and waiting times. Experiment with providing choices, and make certain that rules are really simple and clear. To make problem behavior inefficient, teach an alternative to the behavior by introducing something that will serve the same function but that's simple to do and works every time. Teach a child to ask for help instead of climbing furniture to reach for a toy. Teach him to place an "I need a break" card in your hand as an alternative to throwing a tantrum to escape completing a puzzle. Whatever alternative you choose, it's critically important to make sure, initially, that the child is always successful when using the new skill. That means ensuring that your entire teaching team and the child's parents are part of the solution too. Alternative behaviors must be easier, take less effort, and be more successful than the problem one. When teaching any alternative behavior, you'll want to use techniques such as modeling, prompting, and shaping the behavior. You'll also want to provide frequent and consistent reinforcement for using the new skill. Use tangible reinforcement, giving the child the desired object or activity, and lots of praise and attention. And remember, choose the right reinforcement for each child. For example, a child who dislikes noise may find it unnerving if praise is too loud, which could have the opposite to the desired effect. Match motivation to the child's likes and dislikes. Once you've made a problem behavior irrelevant by addressing antecedent issues, or inefficient by implementing alternative ways for a child to meet his need to escape or obtain, the final step is to make a problem behavior ineffective, meaning that it no longer works. First, you already know that changing a problem behavior that has worked in the past requires both a good strategy and a lot of patience and persistence. Expect things to get worse before they get better, because that's a good sign that your strategy is working. And remember that changing a behavior in one environment means changing a behavior in all the places the child finds himself. Your partnership with other members of your team, and especially parents, is a key to success. Be certain to communicate your strategy to everyone. Changing a problem behavior that continues to be rewarded in other settings is confusing to the child and frustrating for everyone. You also know that some behaviors require professional help. Where the health and safety of the child or others is at risk, the intervention of a speech, occupational, or behavior therapist may be required. But you'll find that this is the exception. Most problem behaviors, especially those associated with communication frustration, both yours and the child's, can be successfully changed. Both of you want to be successful. Let me take you through some general proven strategies for success. You'll find a printable version of this information called General Strategies for Dealing with Problem Behavior in the tip sheet section of Positive Behavior Supports. When you've determined that the function of a problem behavior is obtaining an object or activity, try the following. Provide an appropriate replacement. Give the child another way to get the object or activity, such as making access easier or providing more materials. Look for ways to provide an alternative method of requesting the item or activity. Teach the child to communicate using picture symbols, signing, vocalizations, and words. The communication section of supported inclusion contains a library of over 400 picture symbols and a number of generic templates that place a simple-to-use and powerful communication system in your hands. There is also a workshop on using visuals to communicate and a number of printable tip sheets you'll want to share with parents and your team members. We think you'll find this so valuable that we've even created a way for you to save visual sequences that you've created so that you can use them again. You need to think carefully about children who attempt to escape certain kinds of objects or activities. Consider, is the task too difficult for the child? Are the expectations clear? Are there sensory concerns? Was a warning provided prior to the transition to or from an activity? If all of these possible issues have been addressed and the behavior continues, here are some strategies you can use. Ensure follow-through. Initially, this may mean that the child is expected to participate in the activity for a minimal amount of time. For example, sitting at the snack table for 20 seconds. Provide reinforcement following the completion of the task or for any cooperation with the task. Teach the child to indicate his desire to end an activity by asking for a break, saying or signing no, or using a picture symbol. If the problem behavior seems to be a function of the need for attention, here are some tips. Teach the child to seek attention more appropriately by calling the person by name, taking the adult by the hand, tapping the adult on the shoulder, or by producing a specific sign or exchanging a picture symbol to make this request. Give as little attention as possible to the problem behavior. Provide exaggerated attention and praise when the child is doing the right kinds of things. Catch them being good. Children who don't like attention may be trying to send you a message. Think about the following. Is the interaction too difficult? Is the child stressed? Are there sensory concerns, such as difficulty with loud noises? If the function of a problem behavior is to escape attention, slowly associate yourself with things or activities the child loves. This will make your attention much more tolerable and perhaps even fun. Reduce or modify your expectations. Teach coping strategies and stress release techniques. The Positive Behavior Support section of Supported Inclusion contains an in-depth workshop on sensory stimulation and tip sheets on modifying expectations and coping with stress. If a child is seeking sensory stimulation in an inappropriate way, you may find these strategies helpful. Determine what input the child is seeking and provide it in a more appropriate manner. For example, a child who constantly touches or pulls long hair might be able to get the same tactile input from a cheerleader pom-pom. An occupational therapy consultation will be helpful in identifying safe alternatives. When possible, direct the child's attention away from the sensory feedback by getting him busy with other activities. For children who are escaping certain kinds of sensory stimulation, you'll need to do several things. Modify the environment and play materials to reduce sensory input. Gradually expose the child to similar sensory experiences. Seek consultation from an occupational therapist. Most of all, it's important not to force the child to participate in activities that are truly uncomfortable for him. As I've mentioned throughout the 2 parts of this workshop, the Supported Inclusion site contains tools, tip sheets, and workshops that address all of the specifics. The information you need is easy to find, simple to use, and produced so that it can be shared with your team members and parents, and everything has been designed to fit into an already busy schedule. As you tackle a problem behavior using this information in these tools, you'll realize that success for a child with special needs in your environment is really no different than success for any child. You already know how to do most of this. The recipe for success is the right combination of your professional skills, some specialized knowledge applied in a sequence, patience, and above all, trusting the instincts that brought you to this profession in the first place. And as you see a young child shed problem behavior and take his place in your community, you'll come to realize that, when it's all done, he wanted to be as successful as you wanted him to be. Thanks for coming by.